as long as we're alive, we'll always be able to solve problems with science. But science will never be able to, in his words, I think, make us noble. Which is just to say, science will never be able to make us or teach us about by humans for humans.
The layers.
The layers.
The layers that we need to lay on top of the science in order to make us who we are.
Yes. Like you can, you don't have to drop nuclear bombs on individuals, but nuclear bombs are technology, and that technology, that science, that understanding hasn't made us better humans.
If you're starting or growing your business in these volatile times in coffee and you need a little extra support, our scope of business advisory services may be just what you need. Join one of our hugely successful mastermind groups for support in a group setting, or send us an email to discuss our one-on-one consulting and business advisory services, where we'll work with you one-on-one to solve specific problems in your coffee business. All our services come with a 100% money-back guarantee, so send us an email at support@mapperforward.org and let us know how we can help you today. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is unfortunately the final episode of what has been a truly wonderful conversation, Ian. Thank you for all the spiciness and all the pushback, and it's been really, really fun exploring this series with you. And I hope it's the first of many times you come back on the podcast.
Oh, it's been a blast. I hope so too. Yeah.
Thank you. Folks, there's something that I want to say before we move on. Ian has made it aware that I probably haven't made you aware enough of my background in sensory science. I have a degree in genetics. While I was getting my degree in genetics, I took many classes in biotechnology and microbiology. As a part of that, I became a trained sensory expert. It is a part of getting your degree in biology during those classes. When I talk about this stuff, the reason I express this frustration is because I am highly aware of how little I fucking know, and I am trained at the degree level in this stuff. And the fact that you're all being convinced that you are highly trained sensory experts because you're being sold these courses is horse shit. And that's what makes me so angry about this, not about you. It's the people who are trying to convince you that they are training you as these highly specialized sensory experts, when in fact the people who are actually highly specialized sensory experts are not working in the coffee industry at our level. As Ian said, they are working in labs, in sensory labs at big corporations. There is one person, one business I know in specialty coffee that hires food technologists pretty much across the board for all levels of what they do. And that's a business called Nomad Coffee Studios in Pakistan, because he wants to buck the trend. It's a client of mine. He is the person everybody should be looking at for the way to set up an entire industry. But I think it's important for people, and Ian pointed it out to me, and I'm grateful that you did that. I need people to have that context about why this triggers me so much. And it's not just me sitting here saying, I know better than you. It's me saying, they're fooling you. They are tricking you into believing that you are better than other because you're buying their courses, in my opinion. And the in my opinion is there for legal reasons. I think about this shit all the time because I do not like people being tricked and manipulated. And in my opinion, that's what's happening here. If you attributed the same amount of time to go and get a degree in this stuff, you would be making so much more money than what you're making in the businesses that you're currently working in. And you would be hireable all over the world because food technologists are massively highly sought after. So that's my 2 cents that I feel that I needed to say there based on Ian's advice. So I appreciate that, Ian. We're going to talk about Q graders, cuppers, and technology. And I think a really interesting thing that Reza brought up in the series that we discussed, Ian, was he said, look, there's automated equipment now that assesses quality. Talk to me about that stuff.
Yeah. You got electronic noses, right?
Okay.
You've got, I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. What I've seen so far is that it does it, right? So you put your thing in there and you get out chemical name, and you figure out what those are, and you can build models around, okay, well, say, make up a number and say 236 parts per billion. Chemical name doesn't mean anything to me, but it occurs in this context with these so many times, and we know that this much of that chemical tastes like cucumber. And we know that this much of that chemical tastes like cardboard, and we know this much of that chemical tastes like melon. So we can start to piece some things together. But what I've seen is that, and if I'm obsolete, like out of date on what I understand, let me start again. If I'm not out of date on what I understand, I will be out of date rapidly, right? But what I understand is that it is not yet at the point of taking that breakdown and being accurately predictive of what we're going to say when we taste the coffee. And maybe it's a strength, but it's because what I'm going to say and what you're going to say are not going to be the same.
Right.
So I think, and this gets a little bit to one of the themes of the conversation, where we're talking, I've used the word specialty coffee, and I've emphasized and asked, what's the specialty of specialty coffee? Why is it not just coffee? And I've said before, and it's not like everyone's favorite thing, but in some ways, the specialty of specialty coffee means personal, anecdotal, and imprecise. Like it means those things, and we hear those words, especially in this kind of like current period where we're really into sensory science, and we're really into these machines, and we're really into pushing in the other direction. We think, oh, personal, anecdotal, imprecise, that doesn't sound good. That sounds bad. But I would say that these are a huge part of what the specialty of specialty coffee is, and they're good. They are a strength. At one point, before the coffee rose, we had a modified quantitative descriptive analysis cupping form. Quantitative descriptive analysis is what is considered kind of the creme de la creme of sensory analysis and descriptive analysis. And I should be clear, what we were using was a modified one, which meant I call it modified because we couldn't do the full thing. It's really hard and expensive and involved and impractical to do true QDA, right? So we had this modified form that was based on it, and we had used that for a while. And before the rose, I had been thinking about a way to improve our cupping, and the direction I was going was like harder. I'm going to lean harder on descriptive analysis. We're going to go further into it. Now, I'm bringing this up because descriptive analysis is like the nth degree of let's use humans to approximate and do machine-like things.
Right.
Right. We're gonna use this human panel, which we have right now available, and we're gonna get as machiney as we possibly can. And so I started working on this project, and as I started doing kind of like call it like stakeholder conversations, right? You're working on a sensory thing, you're building a form, a protocol. You talk to the people who it matters to, right? It's not just like you make it up and you just be like, oh, let's go. You have to go out and like talk to people. And this is really important. If you're making a protocol in a company form and you start talking to people and they say like, I don't think that works for me, then you actually have to listen and like adjust course. If someone says that doesn't seem right, that doesn't seem practical, you actually have to reflect and you have to look at it and you have to adjust course. You have to take in stakeholder feedback and apply it. And one of the things, I didn't always get verbal stakeholder feedback, but when I was like presenting what I was working on, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of as much as possible all of the hedonistic stuff, like all the effective, we're gonna go numbers, hard numbers. It's all measurement, training, references. It's gonna be amazing how descriptive this thing is. And I had two super common responses. One was just like blank stare, like glazed over a long time ago. The other was like abject fear. Fear, as in like, are you about to destroy? Like, are you gonna ruin? Are you gonna just like? Are you gonna wreck this? Like, what?
You're gonna take the romance out of this?
You need to like slow it. And unfortunately, I had people actually then said like, just like, okay, well, not everyone that I talk to wants that or could use that or knows how to think about that. So like, back to the drawing board, right. Like a sensory guy. So back to the back of the building, back to the basement, so to speak. And that was really important because it catalyzed this like series of reflections on what we were doing, who we were doing it for. Like that's a massive question. Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to find out? But then who's impacted by this? And is this thing that you're proposing to do beneficial to others, or does it make their lives harder and worse? And it brought me around to like, okay, well, no, I'm going to recontextualize my project. I do want to make improvements. I do see errors and flaws in this modified QDA form, but maybe like doubling down is not exactly right. And so I'm looking more at it, and I've been deep diving in sensory science, and I remembered this book, and it's by a guy named Manuel de Landa, and it's called 1,000 Years of Nonlinear History, and it is like a crazy read. It's like this crazy post-structuralist theory look at history. This author is a historian. It's heady stuff. Not claim to have understood the majority of that book in a really clear way, but I did encounter one theme that was ongoing and really, really light bulb moment to me, which was this theory of emergence. He talks about emergent properties. So I went back and I read through that section again, and I thought like, okay, well, what is it? What is an emergent property? Is a property where you have, say, your coffee sample, and it's got a volatile and an acid and a carbohydrate and a salt, and you measure all those things and you get your readout. But an emergent property is what happens when those things interact and a new thing emerges. That's an emergent property. Right. The other part of that equation is you and me. We are part of the emergent, right? If we're scientists and we're an observer, there's like, well, we set up an experiment. This is created environment. Now, if we're in a coffee tasting room, a sample, I mean, it's all a lab. If we're in a coffee tasting lab, where there's, as you've mentioned, there's lots of bias, there's lots of influence, there's lots of variability. There's also lots of possibility for emergence. So emergent properties become really, really close to sensory error. Like they're really, really close. There may be like near enemies, as I mentioned, in this sense where like I think emergent properties are a really big deal for us in specialty coffee. Because if you call me and say, I got this coffee and I taste 300 parts per million citric acid and malic acid equivalents, and I taste X amount of limonene, and you list this stuff off, I'm not. It's like super descriptive, but it doesn't describe anything to me. If you call me and say, "Wow, this Yirgacheffe, it's like lemon curd all day." You could even say it's shiny. You could even say it's shiny.
Please, folks, don't say it's shiny.
Yeah, probably not. But
the other one was, it tastes like diamonds. What the fuck does that mean?
That's amazing. You're not wealthy enough to have.
Bro, I live in Dubai. Apparently, soon enough, I'm going to be able to go and buy a fucking cup of coffee for $500.
You guys don't ice your drinks with diamonds? I've been misled. Here's the point is, when you say lemon curd, when you say something that's like not in the cup, it's an emergent property. It's your experience that catches me, that hooks me, that makes me interested. But that's you. Hopefully I'm going to get it. Like, hopefully there's enough there where I go, oh yeah, that's lemon curd. Or hopefully I know what you're talking about when you reference lemon curd. Maybe every time you say that, I say jasmine perfume. And there's going to be chemical overlap, right? There's going to be chemical overlap in those descriptors. But, you know, when I look at this, I see it from here and you see it from here. We call it the same thing, but I'm looking at it from these eyes.
Different perspectives.
This palette.
Yeah.
That is how it is. And there's some, I think there's some real interest and specialty there. So what am I even going on about? The machines, here's what they can do. They can measure all the stuff. And at some point, they're going to be like better and better at predicting what I would say. They're going to do the Keynesian beauty.
Or detecting. Right.
They're going to detect the things and then they're going to guess. And they're going to get better and better at guessing. Would Lise lemon curd?
Right.
When that happens, right? At that point, we're really going to have to rely on the specialty of specialty coffee. Because at that point, there's going to be a big question about, like, what are we doing? Do we care about people? Is it by humans for humans? Right? Reza kept saying by humans for humans.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's brilliant. It's beautiful. We could use my cynical perspective of what is the specialty of specialty coffee, or we could use his, which is like so good. It's so
beautiful and poetic.
Yes.
And very Reza.
Yes. And it's correct. It's by humans for humans. So that's what I.
But the by humans. So here's the sad part about that. The by humans for humans is no longer working. Economically, and from a business perspective, by humans for humans has proven to be an exploitative endeavor on the majority of counts.
Yes. So here we can't technology our way out of that. So some
businesses are going to take a look at businesses like Luckin.
Sure, they can technology themselves out of humans.
Yes.
But they can't technology themselves out of by humans for humans isn't working. Right? At a certain point, we just have to actually say, yeah, that's important to us. Right? There was all right, this will be Buddhist thing number 2. There was a Zen teacher, and he, little old Japanese guy in this case, but American crossover, like somewhat modern. And people were asking him about like weird cultural and like Americans, right? Americans were like, what about this weird cultural and religious stuff? And what about science? You must be anti-science. What about science? And he said something to the effect of, uh, as long as we're alive, we'll always be able to solve problems with science. But science will never be able to, in his words, I think, were like, make us noble, which is just to say science will never be able to make us or teach us about by humans for humans.
The layers.
The layers.
The layers that we need to lay on top of the science in order to make us
Yes.
who we are.
Yes. Like you can, you don't have to drop nuclear bombs on individuals, but nuclear bombs are technology, and that technology, that science, that understanding hasn't made us better humans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like nuclear, like mutual, what's it called? Mutual destruction doesn't make us
mutually assured destruction.
Yes, it doesn't make us better humans. It doesn't make us, in Uchiyama's words, it doesn't make us more noble, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, we have to make that decision. And I think that's one of the specialty decisions, which is, why isn't every specialty, why is Cafe Imports employ people? Why not just have like the owners and a logistics person in a basement somewhere and coffee? Why not just do that? Why not just make up the quality, the scores, the notes? Why?
Not to say that there are not people out there doing that.
It's not like, it's a choice, and technology
it
never
totally
makes
is.
that choice, right? The technology can remove that choice for us if we want it to, or don't.
Yeah.
But
yeah, 100%.
if we want, we just make that choice, and then we get we get crushed by the robot overlords. if we don't say, oh yeah, well, we're making this choice, and this is what this is, right? So it's us, it's you, and it's me.
It's by humans for humans.
By humans for humans. Yes.
I hope you heard that, Reza. We listened to what you said in the series that you did. We heard it loud and clear.
We listened to it. We thought about it.
And we conversed even further as an homage to you. Ian, this has been a delightful series. There's only one question I have left for you. When the future version of you comes back and watches this, what do you hope for him?
I hope that he didn't like turn in his chair too much for the video.
You haven't.
Good.
Just so that people understand what he means. Ian's sitting on a swivel chair, and before we got started, I said to him, do me a favor, don't swivel on the chair because you'll go out of frame. So that's what he's referring to.
I hope that let's see, I'm gonna go first person on this one, and I hope that I manage to stay like curious and inquisitive and open to asking questions and getting those answers, like either way, right? Like that's I think that's why I'm here, and I think that's what a lot of what we're talking about. So that's what I hope.
I love it. I hope that I have had so many conversations with you by the time he watches this. There is, like, I want to talk to you about simulation theory. I want to talk to you about so many other things in like coffee and not coffee. This has been truly delightful. And thank you again to Reza, who introduced us and insisted that this conversation needs to happen. We would have met eventually, but this fast-tracked that. It was delightful. I hope that everyone enjoyed it. Could you tell people how they can connect with you and how they can connect with Cafe Imports?
Yeah. So, Cafe Imports has a website. My stuff is under sensory analysis and the coffee rose on the Cafe Imports website. You can check out the rose there. Rose.cafeimports.com is another way to get there. For myself, I'm pretty not social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't know.
I'll put a link in the show notes. It's fine.
I'll do it. Yeah, that's the way to go for follow up here. Yeah.
Perfect. Only one thing left to do. Will you wrap up our series for us?
Oh, I'd love to. Peace, love, and peanut butter.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.